What's up, guys? Welcome back to 3G Video. Today, we are picking up right where we left off last video with the engine in. We have Kyle over. We're going to get some major work done in today's video. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. Alright guys, to recap from last video, you can tell the engine is stuffed in there, and it's a little more complete than the last time that it was in the car. We have Kyle here. He's been working on the trans tunnel. We had to cut a little more out for the drive shaft. I'm making a new mount back here to put the donut. We're going to have to make a whole new drive shaft. A lot of work ahead of us, but I think we're getting some progress here today, and see you, Kyle. Okay, so me and Kyle got a lot done. I ended up under the car prying the bottom of the tunnel out so he could spot weld it, and then he started doing some stitch welding to get this thing together. As you can tell, I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, and it never was going to be perfect, but we got it in there in a good position. I also made a dash bar here and made this custom mount to hold my clutch master cylinder. So this would normally mount on the firewall and be pushed on the bottom of the clutch pedal in, but I don't have room inside there because the wheel arch and everything's there. There's no room for it. So I flipped it around, and with this being an old cable style clutch, on the top of the pedal it used to house where it attached to the cable. It went through the firewall, but now it's going to go the opposite direction. I welded a bolt onto it, and it's going to push the push rod, which I had to shorten, to go into our clutch master. All of the tubing and stuff is going to stay inside the cab, and we're going to make a little access panel so the slave cylinder can go right into the transmission there. There'll be a little hole for the cable or the line to run up, and it'll run up to the dash and come over. So a little different, had to get some ingenuity had to be a little bit ingenuitive there to make it work, but I'm excited. It's a big relief to have that master cylinder done, because that was one of the things that I was kind of fretting about. I didn't have a solution for it, so getting that figured out makes me feel very happy. So next step is to get the engine and transmission back out, because we got a lot of work to get done before we can put it back in, hopefully all today. So let's get this thing out. Feels like we just put this thing in, but we're hoisting it out. It's coming out pretty easy. Me and Dad, it's taken both of us to do it, so we're not really getting much filming done. We're gonna pull this thing the rest of the way out, get it on the engine stand real quick, just for the day. Hopefully, that's the plan. So let's get it on the stand. I took the transmission off, the engine's out. I'm not actually able to get it up on the engine stand because the flywheel's on it, and I don't want to take the flywheel off. So most of the things I need to do to the engine, I can do in the car once it's back in, but we got to put the clutch on it, put that on, but I got to get some work done to the car first. So let's see that. Okay, got it all beat into place and painted it black. Had some holes cut for the slave cylinder and for the shifter that's going to come up through the tunnel. We'll make some block-off panels, block-off panel for that, and then we'll have a shifter boot over the top to hopefully keep the hot gases and such from the engine bay getting back in there. And then our panel is going to go back there. We're going to try to cover everything down. Got a new throttle cable on there, and we got rid of a ton of our old lines and such that were attached to the bottom of the car, and then I did get this fuel line ran back to the back, and we have our brake line, so cleaned the frame rail up a lot. Really happy with that. Still got gunk and grime down there. I need to get a pressure washer on it, but we'll worry about that later. So now that we're moving on from there, it is time to to put the new clutch on there. Hopefully this one fits and works with the transmission and the engine. We don't have to swap parts from both, so I can return the one. We'll see. Let's get it out and see what happens. Okay, so getting our clutch on, have the clutch alignment tool down in the middle of the snout to align our clutch disc, and then putting the pressure plate on, which this actually fits on the older style flywheel, so that is really a relief. So I can use all of the stuff from the new kit. I don't have to use any of the old ones, so I can send that back and get a refund. So that's good. We just lost a little bit of time on it, but that's okay. I'm gonna go around and tighten these up in a crisscross pattern, and then once we get this clutch done, I can throw the transmission back on it, and we'll be a lot closer. Still gotta throw the starter on, then we can throw it in. So let's get some work done. Alright guys, clutch is on. The new throw up bearing is on as well. Got this all lined up, ready to go. Stab it on there. Okay, engine is stuffed back into Benny. However, we are having a problem. The new starter, which is from an older Dodge truck, it's a big starter, non-reduction gear. It's actually hitting the steering shaft. So the little nub right there on the steering shaft, when it spins around, it catches on the starter and doesn't let the steering action happen. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get a gear reduction one. So we're gonna have to pull this back up just enough so I can get the starter out, and then put the new starter back on whenever I go get it from the store, and then slap it back in. This is becoming a little bit of an issue, but hey, that's what happens when we start shoehorning big V8 into a Volvo. Alright guys, I've been terrible at filming today, but I got belts on, got the power steering, valve covers are bolted down, coils on it, getting ready to do some spark plug wires. Caleb is over here doing the brake fluid. We're gonna fill it up. Gotta bleed the brakes here in a second. And Kyle is also here. We got the whole fam here. I don't know where he went, but he's been working on our drive shaft tunnel. We're putting a loop in it. We actually put the drive shaft in and took it back out because we got a new seal to put in the tail housing. A lot of stuff getting done here. A lot of crazy stuff. I got the shifter in it. We're very excited. This is a lot going on. Oh, we also put the rack in it, so we're getting that figured out. We're gonna have to do a little bit of toe alignment because touch off. So we're getting that all figured out as well. A lot of work still ahead, but a lot of work getting done, and let's just see where we can get. All right, well, I've been knocking a lot of stuff out. The guys were here all day today. It was great help having them here. Didn't film a lot because we were just busy helping each other, and it got crazy getting a lot of work done. But carburetor is on, and we have the throttle cable attached, got a fuel line attached, still got to run that back. Still got a little things, radiators in it, but we still need to make that actually mounted. So it looks like a lot. We still got a lot of little things to get done. However, one unfortunate thing is the hood is not going to fit with the carburetor sitting up this high. So I'm going to have to smack the hood down onto the pin up here, and that is going to leave me a witness mark so we can cut a 14-inch circle hole in the hood. I was really hoping to keep it subtle. This isn't going to be subtle. I'm going to do it kind of gentle the first time, just kind of see where it lands. Oh yeah, you can see the dent on the hood now, where it came out. It's pretty prominent on the hood. You can see the dent right here. I just chipped the paint where it dented it. So that'll give me a good. Okay guys, I've been doing a terrible job filming and keeping up. We had a bad water pump whenever I went to put water in. Also got the nose on, as you can tell in the hood cut, which we saw last night. But went to put water, coolant in it, and it started leaking out of the pump. So got a new pump in today, got to get that on. This thing still needs broke in. I still need to wire the car and get the water pump on it, get a shifter figured out. A lot of work to do in today. It's a little nerve-wracking. It's definitely one of those, just got to put your head down, get as much work done as fast as possible, and just pray that it gets done. So let's get to work. All right, so we're out working and it started to rain and so I had to close things up a little bit. However, getting rain gone. There it is. Rain's going away, got the engine covered up. I gotta finish filling this thing with coolant. It was getting really close to being done there. And got the shifter in it, which is awesome. I got the duct tape around there. The mount for our loop is done. Got a lot of stuff done. We're ready to work on wiring. Wiring is obviously a huge task. And it's the last big one on our list. But I have a painless wiring setup that I got in here because it was raining. So I brought it into the little office area back here. Have our full painless wiring set up here. We're gonna have to get this out of the box, kind of spread it out, figure out what we're using, what we're not. It's more of a universal kit, but I think it's gonna work really great for what we're using. We have to make a switch panel and make an area for our gauges, but I think this is gonna work really well. Hopefully we can get it done pretty quick so we can get this thing fired up later today. Okay guys, I know how sporadic this video has been. It's been crazy. The weather's been changing. This past week has been insane. I know this video's been over a week. Doesn't feel like it at all, but Benny is all together. I checked Spark. We have Spark. Pulled the distributor out, spun it with the thing. It's sparking, which is great. We do have a little bit of a drizzle coming down, so we're probably gonna wait for that, but I need to get him started. Break it in! Guys, we're getting so close, and we have to leave tonight. Like, cutting this close? Yeah, this is cutting it way too close, but got to get broken, and then get headlights are not done, but everything else is pretty much done except for the interior. The interior is not too bad. Got the driver's seat in it, which is important. Got our dash bar. I do want to put an extra thing on it to hold the dash up. We'll see if I have time for it. If not, we'll just rock it this way. Gauges are all down there. I need to make a gauge cluster. That'll be next after we get it started and all that. But all the gauges work, or they turn on at least. We do have our carpet. We need to get our passenger seat and then get the back ready to camp out of over the next weekend. Yeah, no, I'm insane. It's okay. We're gonna get him going, and this thing is gonna be awesome. Okay. Okay guys, we've been working on it for like 2 hours, I don't know, however long. It's been way too long. Not getting spark. Had spark whenever you'd pull the rotor out and you'd spin it around. It had spark. The ECU was seeing the signal. It was sparking. We were good. As soon as you put it in, you hit the starter, it wouldn't. There was no signal being seen. Mess with it. Tried a whole bunch of different things. I then talked to a buddy and he was like, well, don't you have the other ECU? Because I was using the one out of another project, and I decided to put this one back in because I thought the other one was better. Apparently it's not. So I swapped it over, and it saw RPM on the starter without the cap on it. So I'm hoping that it's going to work this time. And we got the fuel leaks figured out. I got it hooked up to Yoda, charging the battery, so that should be all good. I'm really hoping this works this time. We got a tight deadline. It's like going on 5 o'clock. I have 24 hours to be at the event. So, yay. Okay, go. Yeah. Okay, so as you saw, it started and that was good, but it was popping and banging and I couldn't figure out what is going on. We'd try to hit the throttle and it would just like wouldn't go anywhere. It'd start popping more, wouldn't run right. Well, dummy me, we swapped the ECU over to the one that was on Benny, which was a 4-cylinder and had a rev limiter at 4,500. That's where I just kept it just to be safe. Well, when you're on the 8-cylinder, it thought that 2,250 RPM was its rev limit. So that was why it was popping and banging. Also, why I couldn't figure out the timing on it was because in the ECU, it was trying to control timing, the sweep of timing through RPM. And it was thinking it was going all the way up to 4,500 RPM. So it was trying to go full advance on timing and everything. It was moving all the way around because of that. when it needs a fixed timing because we have a vacuum advance. So that was just, I forgot to swap it over in the computer. So we did that and hoping that solves all of our issues there. So we're gonna fire it back up and try to get this thing broke in. It's kind of a little sketchy starting it and then stopping it again, but I figure if it's, half hour of just interval times of trying to do it, it's good enough. We're gonna call it good enough. So a little nerve-wracking. I've been shook up a little bit, but at least it started. I'm excited about that. Let's see what happens when we go start it again. Hopefully it runs a little smoother. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. Let's get this thing started, hopefully get it broke in. This is always the nerve-wracking part, trying to keep it up at 2,000 RPM, right on a fresh. Okay guys, well it got dark, it's still cold, and Benny is parked here. We are not going to be taking him on the trip. We do have to leave tonight to make it to our second event of the season, and Benny's not going to make it with the V8 swap because he started pushing oil out a whole bunch of different orifices. Did have the first start, and I got to hear it, which was really exciting, but unfortunately it's not going to work out for this trip. So we're going to be leaving him. Make sure you guys check back very soon for our next video, which we'll be covering the next event, which is Carolina Drag Cruise. So let's go see that. Have a blessed day. As always, I'll talk to you guys next time.